You know that moment. You want to speak English. The words are there in your native language. You look for the translation in your head. You hesitate. The moment passes. Or you are listening to someone. They talk fast. You try to translate every sentence in your mind. You get tired. You get lost. You stop understanding. It is like trying to watch a movie with a slow internet connection. Today I want to talk to you about this mental habit, translating everything in your head, why it makes your English slower and heavier, why it feels so hard to stop, and how you can train your brain to think more directly in English. By the way, if you like using English to improve not just your grammar but your mind and your life, you can subscribe and keep these reflections close to your routine. Let us begin. First, you need to understand something very important. Translating in your head is not a sign that you are bad at English. It is a natural phase. Your brain is doing what it knows. You have one strong language. You are building another. So your brain uses the strong one as a bridge. You hear a word in English. It connects it to your language. Then it gives you the meaning, like this: English word, native language word, meaning. This is okay in the beginning, but if you always stay in this mode, something happens. Your English will feel slow, artificial, unnatural, tiring. You will understand a lot in reading and maybe listening, but when it is time to speak, you will feel blocked because your brain is trying to do too many things at the same time. Listen, translate, think, translate again, speak. Too many steps. The goal is to make the path shorter. English, meaning, response in English. So the question is, how do you help your brain stop using translation as a crutch? Let us start with one key idea. Your brain needs direct connections. Right now, for many words and expressions in English, your brain has this pathway. English phrase, native phrase, image or feeling. To think in English, you want English phrase, image or feeling. Without the middle step. How do you build this? By giving your brain a lot of situations where English connects directly to actions, images, and emotions. Not only to dictionary words. Let us make this practical. Imagine you are learning the phrase, I am getting ready to go out. If you learn it like this, I am getting ready to go out means, in my language, your brain keeps the translation in the center. If instead you hear someone say, I am getting ready to go out, while they are actually putting on shoes, taking keys, looking in the mirror, and you repeat this phrase while doing the same action, your brain starts to connect. I am getting ready to go out. This situation. You did not need to translate. You used experience. This is how children learn. They hear words in context. They see actions. They feel emotions. No bilingual subtitles. Of course, you are not a child anymore, and you already have a strong first language. But you can still imitate this process. So here are some principles and practices to help you stop translating. First principle. Use more English to get English. If every time you see a new word you immediately run to a translation, your brain learns. Meaning lives in my native language. Instead, if most of the time you use pictures, examples, definitions in simple English, situations, your brain learns. Meaning can live inside English itself. For example, if you do not know the word neighbor, you can see a picture of two houses and the person living next door. You can read a simple sentence like, my neighbor plays loud music at night. You connect the word directly to the idea and to that little scene. No translation needed. This does not mean you must never use a bilingual dictionary. It means you do not want it to be your first and only tool. Second principle. Repeat chunks, not single words. Thinking in English is much easier if your brain has ready-made pieces, not just isolated vocabulary. For example, instead of learning go, to, the, gym as separate units, you practice I am going to the gym. I am at the gym. I am coming back from the gym. You repeat these sentences many times in real or imaginary situations. You say them while you are actually going to the gym, or while you imagine the action clearly. Your brain starts to see them as one unit. So when you want to say this in conversation, you do not need to build it from zero. It comes as a block. Blocks are faster than bricks. Third principle. Accept feeling slow for a while. Stopping translation does not feel comfortable at first. You will feel like, I do not understand everything. I cannot express myself perfectly. I am missing words. This is normal. When you ride a bike without training wheels for the first time, you feel insecure. Translation is like those extra wheels. If you never remove them, you will never have true balance. So in some moments, you will need to say to yourself, I will try to understand this without translating every word. Maybe I understand only 70% now. That is okay. My brain is learning a new path. Fourth principle. Limit back and forth. If you spend your day half in English, half in your language every 2 seconds, your brain never enters a deep English mode. It is like turning a computer on and off constantly. Try to create little pockets of time that are purely in English. For example, listening to a podcast while cooking, watching a short video without subtitles, talking to yourself in English for 5 minutes, writing a short reflection in English. During that time, do not check translations every moment. Let your brain stay in English. Fifth principle. Talk to yourself. This sounds strange, but it is powerful. During the day, you can narrate small things in English in your mind or quietly with your mouth. I am washing the dishes. I am tired today. I need to send an email. I am waiting for the bus. I am hungry. What am I going to eat later? At first, you might need translation to help, but with time, common phrases will become automatic. They will not need your language as a middle step. You are creating a mini environment inside your head where English is the default. Now let us look at some specific exercises. Exercise 1. English in, English out. Choose very short audios or videos in English. Maybe 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute. Listen once or twice. Then pause. Without translating, try to explain in simple English what you understood. Not perfectly. You might say, he is talking about how people use their phones too much. She is explaining how to cook this pasta. The goal is not academic perfection. The goal is to force your brain to use English to explain English. No internal subtitles. Exercise 2. The picture plus phrase. Choose a few everyday actions. Brushing your teeth, opening the fridge, leaving the house, checking your phone, going to bed. Write one short English sentence for each action. I am brushing my teeth. I am opening the fridge. I am leaving the house. I am checking my phone. I am going to bed now. Every time you do that action during the day, say the sentence in English, in your mind or out loud. After some days, the action will automatically call the English phrase, without translation. Exercise 3. Monolingual dictionary, simple version. From time to time, instead of translating a word, use a very simple English definition. For example, for cheap, you might read, not expensive. For noisy, making a lot of sound. You are training your brain to live inside English connections. Exercise 4. Delay the translation. Sometimes you really want or need to know the exact equivalent in your language. That is okay. But play a little game. First, try to guess the meaning from context. Second, imagine a small example sentence with that word. Third, only then check the translation. This delay makes your brain work with English context before using your native language. Exercise 5. Short conversations, all in English. If you have someone to practice with, set a rule for 10 minutes. No switching to your native language. If you do not know a word, you try to explain it with other words. For example, if you cannot remember chef, you might say, the person who cooks in a restaurant. This is an amazing skill. You are teaching your brain. I can survive with the English I have, even if it is not perfect. This reduces panic and dependence on translation. Now let us talk about mindset. Many learners think, if I stop translating, I will make more mistakes. People will judge me. So they stay quiet. They stay in their head. They wait for the perfect sentence before speaking. The result is that they do not speak. To stop translating, you need to make peace with 3 things: making mistakes, being slower at first, not understanding every single word. You do not need to be careless, but you do need to be brave. Think of a child learning to walk. They do not say, I will walk only when I am sure I will never fall. They walk, they fall, they try again. Your English needs this permission. Now, one more important point. You will still translate sometimes. And this is okay. The goal is not to never ever translate one word again. The goal is to reduce your dependence on translation so that it is a tool, not a prison. Sometimes translation is efficient. You see a simple word, you check once, you understand, you move on. Fine. The problem is when you try to mentally translate every little word in real time. That is like trying to drive a race car with the handbrake on. So be kind to yourself. You are not failing if you translate occasionally. You are retraining habits. To finish, let us summarize in a human way. Your brain has learned to hold English with a tight hand made of your native language. It is afraid that if it opens the hand, everything will fall. But the opposite is true. As you slowly loosen the grip, English can flow more. You can begin to hear a sentence and feel its meaning directly. Describe your day in simple English, even with limitations. Listen to a short story and retell it using your own words. Respond in conversation without a long pause of translation. This will not happen in 1 week, but every time you use a picture instead of a translation. Repeat a phrase during a real action. Explain something in English using simple words. Stay 10 minutes in pure English mode. You are sending a message to your brain. English is not just a code I translate. It is a language I live in. And little by little, you will notice something. You are not translating as much. Some phrases come automatically. You listen and understand the general idea without thinking about your native language. That is the moment when English is no longer just a subject. It is becoming a place in your mind. a place where you can think, feel, and express yourself without needing subtitles inside your head. Thank you for watching.